Wow. This is going to be an interesting one. It'll be a good episode. What are we going to do it on? You'll see. Not So Creative Podcast. This is E. Here we go. I'm about to cover very quickly the Wrestlemania press conference. I'm going to do the best I can and see how I can explain it. It's good. It is so good. So sometimes, the fans are so eager to panic and do all these things, and we don't know what's actually going on. It's like I said before in my prior episodes, it's a business. They know how to run this. We don't need to do things for the writers, the creative team, so on and so forth. It is so good. I'm going to try to go in order with this. That way it just makes it even simple. And then we, go from there. So the WrestleMania press conference was at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we'll say the hosts, you had Pat McAfee, Michael Cole, Big E, and CM Punk. It was nice to see CM Punk because he just added that. He added like that attitude with it, The people, it was packed in there from the looks of it, and the crowd was hot. You could tell it was very eager. I'm sure everybody who was watching was eager to hear what was about to happen. Or are we going to have a main event for WrestleMania? Are we going to not know what's going on? Are decisions going to be made today? There was a lot of things going on. So, very good. Very good. So we'll start with Michael Cole was asked Biggie about his neck and, basic stuff. And Biggie said, hey, he's doing great. He appreciates the crowd. He appreciates the love of the fans and so on and so forth. He asked the same thing to CM Punk about how his triceps is doing. And then CM Punk said, hey, it sucks. He's like, I'm not going to main event WrestleMania. My surgery was last week. I think he's out 3 to 6 months, it sounds like, from what I remember. So yeah, he was there. And then, there was something along the lines of, hey, the story of Cody and so on and so forth. Did you see what happened? He's like, yeah. And then, hey, the We Want Cody has been trending since, last week. And then CM Punk had a great line. He goes, yeah, where were you guys? Where were the fans at in 2013 for me? Excellent point, because it's happened to him. For all those who are hardcore and have been able to follow it for years and years, this is nothing new to CM Punk. This is like, this is just like a regular ride. At some point, the same thing has happened to him. So to him, nothing surprises him anymore. Then they went out to Byron Saxton in the back in the wherever they were at. And they asked Paulie, he asked Paulie, hey, what's the mood of Roman Reigns is in? And, and then Paulie says, it's not about, who's the main event. It's about who gets to share the spotlight with Roman Reigns. Who gets to be in the main event in WrestleMania with him? That's more of the question. Then after that, they ask about who would they ask Pat McAfee and everybody else, who do they think is going to be the opponent for Roman Reigns? Pat McAfee, who of course we all know is a Rock fanboy, and I believe he had him in an episode earlier today of his podcast, this show. And he says he believes the Rock is the one that's going to face Roman. Big E also said the Rock. CM Punk, again, to me, he was the best part of the hosting team. We need CM Punk to do more of this because he just has that attitude that goes along with it. And he said, hey, The Rock didn't throw me out. Cody threw me out. So at this point, it sounds like it's more about who does Roman want. That was true. And those are facts, because it sounds like nobody can make a decision. And it looked like, basically it was leaning towards that. And CM Punk nailed it, because that's how it went. And I'll go into that shortly. Then they announced They went out for a moment. They announced a whole new show on X, which is, Twitter, of, it looks like it's called Speed or WWE Speed, where they have matches that are 5 minutes or less with the favorite superstars. Looks like it was exclusively starting in the spring, apparently, when it comes to that. That was that part of it. Then, they had Triple H talking about WrestleMania, the pay-per-views and the history from WrestleMania 1. Good stuff. Presentation, business, how far they've come, how big it's become. I mean, it's only been, I'm not sure how many years that they've done this 2-night thing, but WrestleMania was already big with 1 night. With 2 nights, it's insane. You get to basically see all the talent that you have perform. And that's a great thing because not everybody gets to see them. And of course, you see the 2 brands perform as well. The first guest was Bianca Bellair. And, she basically plugged her reality show, the one on Hulu. And she talked about the history, how she main evented WrestleMania 37, being, the 2 first black women to main event WrestleMania, with her with Sasha Banks, and that she has an undefeated streak. I can't remember who she mentioned. It was 37, 38. It was it Becky last year or was it Asuka? Well, she has an undefeated streak either way. I don't have the exact performer who she battled with at WrestleMania. And then she basically left, she just talked about that and says, hey, you know what? This is the strange year. This is one of the few years I don't go in as a champion, and so on and so forth. And what she's going to see what she can do to fight for the title. And then she has a match against Michin tomorrow on SmackDown for the Elimination Chamber. And then after that, Rhea Ripley came out. And, the crowd was asking about Mommy and so on and so forth, chanting Mommy. And, she's the most dominant champion going into WrestleMania. Basically said, hey, it was obvious that Bayley was going to choose Io Sky as her opponent and betray her friends because she knew that she had no shot against her. It would be kind of pointless to go up against Mommy. So that was that. And then in the middle of that, shortly, Becky's music hits, comes out. And they kind of go back and forth. And this is basically the teaser for who really is going to win, in my opinion, the Elimination Chamber. I said it before, Becky has a book coming out. Usually when you have a book, there's a lot of hype going on. They have to do a lot of press, talk about your book. She's going to be also promoting probably WrestleMania along the way. So I only see her as being the at the end, the one who will challenge Rhea Ripley for the women's belt. She was saying, Rhea Ripley says the same stuff. As usual, Mommy's on top. And then, Becky at least says, hey, there's not going to be there's no WrestleMania without, the man. And, big time Bex. The same shame shtick that, that you hear from them. And then at the end, say, hey, if I make it, you said Mommy always finishes on top. Well, then, you'll see how it is to feel on the bottom because the man is the one to be on top and Mommy's at the bottom and, a little reference there. After that, they went straight to Seth Rollins. He came out and he said, all right, it's about decision making. We need a decision tonight about what's going to happen, so on and so forth. And then this is when it gets amazing. This is when it gets really good, actually. And it's not really a lot to explain and a lot to cover, as far as when it comes to the press conference. I just think it was, in the beginning, it was like, okay, it got a little, beginning with Bianca was cool, plugging your show. Then you had Rhea Ripley, then Becky got in, and then it started warming up then at that point. Then after that, then you had Seth. And, Seth comes out on fire because he's basically, in a way, he's the odd man. He's the odd man out of this whole situation. Who is going to challenge him? What's going on? Are we going to have an Elimination Chamber match for the men's title? Do we know what's happening? And this is where it got really good. You know, if anybody watches the video or the press conference, and you don't really want to see, like, you know, just go either go to the Rhea Ripley part when she's there and then Becky comes out, it gets better. It gets red hot at that point. Highly suggest it. So he says, hey, you know, we need a decision. What's going on? What's going to happen? Who is going to be the person that's going to battle me for the title? And next thing you know, whose music hits? Roman Reigns' music hits. Don't forget, they've been kind of like doing little jabs at each other. You know, I come to work. I'm the real champion. You're the one who just sits there and just defends your belt every 2, 3, maybe 4 months at a time. I'm the real champion here. For a moment, I was thinking, I was like, oh, wow, you know what? Are they going to pull this one off? And maybe not have Cody have it, and they're going to have a unification belt where it's basically Roman against Seth? For a moment, I thought about it. Of course, you know, everybody was pissed off about the whole Cody Rhodes thing, the We Want Cody thing. And there's so many things that, you know, we can think about, ideas, and so on and so forth. But again, I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to stick with this. So Seth Rollins probably had the line of the night. And he said to Roman, oh, wow, you finally show up for work once in a while, huh? Which was great. You know? And then Roman goes, oh, yeah, it's very nice. You're wearing your wife's shoes again. You come to work wearing your wife's shoes. And it was funny because, you know, Seth has this whole stylish thing going on and whatever, you know. His shoes had a white bow on it. Very visible. So, of course, it made a lot of sense for Roman to say that. I'm just laughing about this. All right, so at that point, it gets quiet. Roman starts talking. He takes over the whole thing. Seth is just there on stage. And Roman's basically, remember, you know, his show, his referees, the cameraman, the ring is his, everything is his. He doesn't say that, but just kind of like, follow me on this. He said, who's going to fight me? At this point, Cody made a decision. Valid point. He basically did. He did decide. From what Roman heard, he heard Cody said not at WrestleMania. So to Roman, it's basically like, you know what? I'm deciding now. Because he already made a decision. He said no. So they ask him, who are you going to fight? And he goes, I choose The Rock to be my opponent at the main event at WrestleMania. By the way, the crowd was mixed. Probably wasn't the way that we all thought. As far as dominant, we want Cody. It was mixed, actually. We had the we want Cody, and then you heard the Cody sucks. We want Cody, Cody sucks. So it was actually a little split. There were moments, still the we want Cody was dominant, but not to that degree where it was like overwhelmingly huge favor. So Seth goes to Roman and says to Roman, that's not how it works here. You don't pick. The guy who won the Rumble picks. You don't decide. And that's when The Rock's music hits. And then this is when it gets, you know, I mean, it was good already at that point, you know, because you could kind of sense, oh shit, what's going to happen here? What actually is going on? Because whatever we all thought, and we were just crying about it and going over and flipping up and doing backflips over and throwing ourselves in the ground and wailing and thinking that Cody got screwed and all those other things, it was about to get insane at this point. And this is where, to me, This is why this pro wrestling, this drama, soap opera, whatever we call it, sports entertainment, whatever it is so much fun to watch. And these are the things I was asking for. If anybody listens to it consistently, you'll hear that I said, I want unpredictable stuff. I want it to be mystery. I want to take it back to those old days where not everything is, ironclad. And yes, he's going to win because he's going to win and we already know it and we can't wait to see it. I want mystery along with it. I don't want to always hear, hey, this guy's, going to be the next one. It's favoring, he's going to win or she's going to win. No, I want mystery. I want to be entertained, but at the same time, when I watch a movie, I don't know the end of the movie. That's part of the magic. So we don't always want to spoil it. Unfortunately, sometimes we have some in the back that tell their friends and they say, oh, this is going to happen. And whoever did, things slip a lot of times. So in the directions going in a moment, these are the things I was asking for. So then going back to continue, Roman says, I choose The Rock. The Rock's music hits after Seth Rollins said to Roman, that's not how it works. Rock comes out and he says something to the crowd. The crowd has a mixed reaction. He took his time because the crowd was really hot at that moment. Boos and cheers and we want Cody. Cody sucks. And, we want Rocky. Everything you could think about. And he does his whole introduction that finally The Rock is back in Las Vegas. And then he asked the crowd, the good questions. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think that Roman beats The Rock? Waiting to hear. Of course, there were boos at that point. Or do you think The Rock is going to beat Roman, the tribal chief in WrestleMania, Roman Reigns for the title? Again, the crowd was hot at that point. And this is where, the crowd helps it out a lot too. But they actually did great when it comes to all of them, from Seth, The Rock, Roman, everything. The Rock, honestly, and I said this in the last episode, his participation is what's being talked about the most, whether we like it or not. And I love it. The guy brings attention. He's the ultimate hype man. He's the ultimate performer. He's not where he's at because he just stayed quiet. He always goes after it. And that's great. So at that point, Roman, of course, Roman choosing The Rock. The crowd's, of course, chanting, we want Cody, and so on and so forth. And then The Rock's mentioning about how, The Rock versus Roman Reigns will be the biggest main event ever in WrestleMania. And then, of course, you hear again, the Cody sucks, we want Cody chants and all those things you start hearing, and then at that point, and he starts thanking the press, saying, hey, thank you for the, showing up, the fans, the universe, so on and so forth. And then he shows, hey, I'm going to show you guys something. You guys may not like it. You guys, whatever you think, I appreciate it, but you're going to respect it. And he shows the whole family tree, which I thought was actually pretty cool because I actually wanted to pause it. I might go back later on and look at the whole tree, actually. I'm not sure if it was all the performers or, between, but it was a pretty cool thing. Respect, by the way, because that was actually pretty cool. And then he mentioned, hey, there's always one dominant one. And this is what we're fighting for. And then once that was said, The Rock said it doesn't matter. And then there's a saying that goes, The Rock says, it doesn't matter what you think. Then at that point is when you hear and that was kind of like a heelish response to the crowd because, hey, it doesn't matter. But it wasn't like, like the traditional face, like, hey, it doesn't matter. No, it was like, it doesn't matter what people think. Cody Rhodes music hits. Cody Rhodes comes out and he goes, I'm going to say it word for word. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. This is bullshit. So Cody says, this is bullshit. This is what it's all about. It's that. So then it was, he basically starts saying to, make a decision. I can't remember who asked him, but he said, hey, my decision's already made. And then took a little pause. And he goes, I'm going to choose Roman Reigns as my opponent at WrestleMania. I'm going after him and the title. Roman Reigns flips out. He goes, no. This is a done deal. You can't do nothing about this right now. This is done. You already made up your mind before. You already said it, remember? Basically along those lines. I don't think he said that word for word, but, translation. Which is true because, again, not to repeat the same thing, but he did say that, at that time. No. It's the done deal. I'm facing The Rock and that's it. And at that moment, The Rock is standing to the right of Roman. They didn't get to do the face-off as they advertised, And that's all great and good because people are there just to see the performers, right? There's nothing else they really want. Face-off, no face-off, whatever. We wanted answers, and I knew that this press conference was going to be a big one as far as what was going on. So then Cody makes up his mind. He starts going into the whole thing and saying, hey, your family tree and so on and so forth. He's like, you really think your family will be happy about how you treat your own family? And then he dropped Jay's name. He said, look at Jay. He basically disappeared and he doesn't want to be a part of it. I helped him out. So, and then he went into, if anybody in your family will be ashamed of you. And then he said something about, the High Chief Peter Maivia. Do you think he'd really be proud of you? He probably would think you're a disgrace. Something along those lines. I'm saying, because again, I can't say word for word. That's when The Rock steps up to Cody. Shit. It's great. It's performance, but damn. You have The Rock step up to you. The guy's built like a tank. Even at 50, 51, whatever he's at. It's not even close. Like, even if you look at Roman and The Rock, it's like, shit, man. Rock Cody, it's like a giant in front of you. A jack giant. And that's when The Rock said to him, there's a problem. We have a problem here. And he says to him, this is to Cody now. The Rock says to Cody, you know that when you're insulting his family, as you say, you're insulting my family. Now, The Rock is very sensitive about his grandfather because his grandfather is obviously, the father of his mom. I will be pissed off too if someone says something like that. I don't care. I don't give a shit what kind of beef I have. If you're not a part of the family and you don't know my family, you don't drop names like that, especially the ones that I hold closest and dearest to my heart. So that's what I loved about it too. That made a lot of sense of him being pissed off. It was heelish in a way, but it was authentic at the same time. We have to put ourselves in that position. Imagine you have someone, you're fighting with your cousin. You have someone from the outside who gets involved and says, man, I knew them, but they'd be ashamed of you. Anyone would react who especially has a high regard for someone in the family. As far as like, hey, if it wasn't for him, this wouldn't be. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't, So at that point, The Rock says, hey, don't name drop. That's my family, by the way. And then he slaps Cody. Now, I'm going to say something after the whole thing. This is why CM Punk is the fucking man. Because it was like, CM Punk is so right. At the same time, Cody Rhodes is so disciplined and so, I can't say political because it's not it. He's a very disciplined character. He didn't do anything. He took the slap from The Rock. At that point, I'm not sure if what have he backed up? If not, shit, you take a slap from The Rock, that's like The Exorcist. Your head should spin at that point. But he slapped Cody. Cody didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. He didn't, not even like, I'm about to punch this guy. No reaction. It was just like, he just took it. At the same time, though, hey, we're not here to condone and say, hey, you always respond that way. But Cody, man, you definitely have some discipline about you because that was insane. The Rock is pissed now. Now The Rock is pissed. Now we're seeing a side of The Rock that we probably have never seen, which is great. But it was authentic at the same time. It was something that was so close to him. Because if you go back to the interviews when he took over the board, when he talked about his grandfather. The first person he talked about is his grandfather. And that's what Cody said. And that was it. It was like, when Cody said that, it was like, oh shit. You're about to get, man, are you sure you want to say that, Cody? You could have said everything else. But you said something about the grandfather? Who is the grandfather for both of them? That's tough. That's tough. Or in some way. Well, it's definitely the Rock's grandfather. Again, we have to look at this family tree. It's such a complicated tree because it's so many. So many. But he's up there. And that was the part where, he got pissed. And then, of course, the best part is Seth Rollins blows the hell up now. Who do you think you are? What do you mean? What, you can just do whatever you want here? No, this is crazy. So he blows up. He's barking more, in my opinion, than Cody was. Again, everything happened so fast at that moment. It was like, oh, this is getting so good. Wow. It was like, man, this is so good. And what the things I've been saying that I've asked for, I'm getting. I'm not psychic. It just makes sense. You want to take the product to a point that you can't predict everything that happens. If Cody wins the belt, all great and good. We don't even know what's going on. We don't know. The only thing we know is that Cody said, I'll fight Roman. The Rock slaps Cody. Seth is just there, watching. Then he mouths off because he's pissed off. Roman's also there, standing on the side of the Rock. So now we have this family now, basically, who were about to fight each other respectfully in a battle for, the ultimate supremacy of who is the head of the table, whatever they were going to do. Great presentation by The Rock, as he always does. To Cody insulting and saying something that went into The Rock's heart and pissed the fuck out of him for him to slap Cody. Seth is again saying, This is bullshit. So what, you guys think you can just do whatever you want now? So now both of you, speaking of the Roman and the Rock, so both of you can just make up whatever you want. You guys can just do whatever you want. So now you're here to call your own shot. So you pick him to fight. Roman picks the Rock. That's interesting. Cody picked Roman. I'm thinking a whole bunch of scenarios now, because now, see, this is what I wanted. This is the unpredictability you wanted, that I wanted. I hope there's people out there that wanted this. There's so many scenarios we can think about. We can, many of us are going to say, oh, you see, the we want Cody thing got through. The we want Cody thing actually worked. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't do anything. Maybe that was the whole plan all along, but we were just voicing our opinions and going all crazy about stuff without even knowing, because we want to know things before they happen. It just doesn't work that way. Even Cody said, it was almost as if like Cody was basically giving clues, because the fans on X, on Instagram, wherever social media they were doing, it was almost as if Cody had to give a clue, and he did. That's the sad part about it. You hear Cody said, trust me, trust. Shouldn't even have to happen for him to say that. It was already done. They're going to play it off. We will never know what we knew, who knew, what happened. Because all that does is create talk about it. And that's what the WWE wants. It's important for them to be trending on those weekends, on days like this, on a Thursday. We're not trending because of SmackDown's, the press conference, right? Wrestlemania was trending, as they always highlight. That's important because that means word's getting out. When something's trending, people want to see, what is it? What is it? What is that? You get new fans. You get new people interested. Oh, wow. What? The Rock did what? Wait, Cody said Roman? So there's a lot of, I enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing The Rock pissed off. I enjoyed, seeing Cody choose Roman. Like I said before, I was never a big fan of Cody. I didn't want to see the rematch because it was what it was last year. Even Roman was like, hey, you had your chance, man. You already did it. You lost. That's it. It's over. I'm moving on. Next chapter. You're just another chapter in my book. That's it. It's done. Everyone made a valid point. Everyone had a valid reason to react the way they did. Even Seth was pissed off, which basically shows how united him and Cody really are after all that. After all those battles, there's a respect now there. And that's a great thing. Sometimes you have to go through all these hard and difficult things to get that respect, but it's worth it. And he was just pissed again. Like I said, it was a great press conference. Good job. If you guys changed the method of what you're doing, there was nothing official. That's the other thing about it. All that The Rock did and Roman did was do a face-off. They didn't say, hey, this is the main event for WrestleMania. We just drew our own conclusions. Without even hearing the actual announcement. Was there anything that says, hey, this is the main event? Until then, sometimes we need to chill the hell out. And I say it because it's my opinion. I've seen enough wrestling enough times, and I sure don't like it when it's too predictable. Basically, if Roman, let's say for Roman Reigns' long-term title situation that's been going on, right? For his long-term, as predictable as it could be, it's been fun. Maybe a little longer than expected. They're in that place where they want to surpass certain people who had the titles, because at that point, CM Punk was no longer a part of WWE. Now he's back. There was reasons behind it. They want to have built legacies with their biggest people who are there and are loyal to the company. It makes sense. It's good for them. It's good for what they do. And that's basically it. Now, with this, where are we going with this when it comes to what's happening? There's so many different scenarios that can play out here. All of them have a beef now. Don't get it wrong. That whole Rock Roman thing was seemed like a respectful thing, because they didn't they didn't say nothing bad against you. They basically, did that pound, hey, respect, this is for family, this is what we're going to do. And that was something I was talking about. It's a family celebration when they were about to fight. If that was the case, that wasn't be a family celebration. It was a whole thing about that. And that's what it was. And I'm glad that The Rock presented it that way, because that's exactly what I thought the whole time. It was a family celebration. Cody came in and did what he was supposed to do. Now, the only thing that I have an issue with Cody is this. Even though you made up your mind on Friday and you said the whole thing about, not at WrestleMania, anybody who says, oh, you know what? Well, he can't change his mind. The only problem I have with what Cody said was, hey, Rock, I didn't talk to you. I also have other advisors as well. Holy shit, Cody. I'm going to say it this way. There's been moments, we all have them, that we think of something, we do it, and then we think twice about it, right? Sometimes we'll need advice. In this, what you did, as far as winning the Royal Rumble, you don't need advice for that. Holy shit, Cody. You say, you know what? I won the Rumble. I want Roman. I don't care who comes in. Hey, you know what? Your cousin came in and he said he wanted a shot at you. I don't even know what was going through my mind. Maybe I was starstruck, whatever the case was. But now, you know what? Now that I'm back to my senses and I kind of see where things were going, and I saw this, a battle about the head of the table? Really? Nah, I'm done. Now I want my shot, and I'm going to do it because it's my right, and I won. I won the Royal Rumble. That's the stipulation. I get the first dibs, and I choose who's the champion I fight. I don't know what was going on in my mind at that moment. But now, you know what? I'm back, and I'm going to take that title, and I am going to finish my story. Right? We could have, I don't even know at this point. Like it was so good it left, everybody was like, wait a minute, so what's going on? And I thought I was going to be doing like a 10-minute show, but this is where it got so good that I have to talk about it. There's so many different scenarios now we can throw out. We could have a fatal 4-way. Winner take all. Seth Rollins belt. Cody's belt. Seth Rollins belt. Roman's belt. See, Cody's my mind. He's on my mind. Seth Rollins belt. Roman's belt. The Rock. And Seth. And Roman. And Cody. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because it's that whole ending just threw me off completely, but it was great because that's what I've been asking for. That's what I want. We could do a tag team match. I mean, shit. We have 2 nights. We could do The Rock against Cody now. I mean, shit. Cody, are you just let that shit happen? You let The Rock just slap you? We could have Cody fight Roman, and if you still guys really want to be the head of the table, go ahead, go have fun. Have that match as well. We could have Seth be involved. Shit, Seth didn't like what he said. He's like, what, you guys just think you can just do whatever you want? I'm not here for that shit either. Hell no. It is so good right now. Whatever they're putting together, no matter what it ends up being, whether it's The Rock, Roman, Rock, Cody, Roman, Rock, Cody, Rollins, Roman, it's going to be great. It's going to be good. And you have a guy in The Rock, regardless of whether we like him or not, he's going to push. He's going to be a happy guy regardless of what happens. He's in the board. He's basically the owner. He's the boss. Him and Ari, Nick Khan, they're the guys. And then at the end, just to go along from, I'm just throwing all those scenarios because it's so many little different ways you can go with it now. They're all great scenarios. There's so many things I probably haven't even said. Fatal 4-Way, tag team match, one night, final matches the other night. There's so many ways you can go with this. And don't get me wrong, at the end, I'm sure they all high-fived each other. Shit, man. Hey, Cody. You all right? Yeah, that was good. Fuck yeah, that was good, man. We got him now. We got him. They had no idea. I know. This is going to be the greatest WrestleMania ever. It's going to be the biggest one. I said it. I'm going to make sure of it. And I'm going to make sure that the attention goes across more than ever before. That's, me imagining what The Rock is saying. Right? In the end, let's go for a moment. Fast forward a little bit. So they go back and they, CM Punk says it again. What I was saying, but I was basically saying what he was saying. He's like, it's like, hey, CM, what do you think? I think Cody's too diplomatic. I get slapped in the face, fists are flying. I don't care who you are. I do, whatever happens, at some point down the line, I want to see them go at it. CM Punk and Cody. Those promos, those face-to-face, those, the mic work will be incredible. Incredible. Nobody does it better than those two. I will say that. And I love it that The Rock says, we will do whatever we want. Shit. You're flexing now, boy. You're flexing now. Now you're showing your power now. Now it got to your head now. Now, man, you may just have top Roman Reigns in 5 seconds with that line. We could do whatever the hell we want. And then they're getting the opinions from Pat McAfee and Big E. And then Big E says, I don't know what's going to go on because, hey, The Rock's part of the board. He's your boss. You really want to go up against that now? Oh, this is so good. Loving it. Pat McAfee, the ultimate Rock fanboy. Like, yeah, he's part of the board. That's right. Right? So then they go out, the press, the girl from, I think, NXT or one of them. Can't remember her name. She interviews Triple H and she's asking him, hey, what do you think is going on? He's like, hey, things can get a little complicated. And then behind them, you see ECW, I'm thinking. Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, and The Rock. All three of them are walking together now. Right? Just basically having a conversation. And they see Triple H. And then you see the beef then. Again, there's so much good stuff. It's unfortunate that Triple H, completely is done with his career, because then you hear The Rock, saying, basically putting the pressure on. Fix it. He tells Triple H, fix it. And if you don't, then we will fix it. It's like, holy shit. There he goes again. He's flexing that power because we all know that you need to use that as a background to the story. He's a part of the board. He's the owner. Will he give Cody that chance after what happened? He can override anybody. So if Triple H says, you know what, that match is going to go on, and you have the owner says, hell no, it's not going to happen, it makes for an interesting story. We don't know where it's going. We don't know how it's going to happen, but I think it's great that it's so unpredictable. We all left with, wait, so what happened? Cody picked Roman. Yeah, but it could be, he could override it now too. So, that was And then they went back to, I'm sorry. They went back to CM Punk and he goes, hey, how do you fix this issue? Or, how do you guys fix it? And CM Punk goes, it's so easy. It's so easy to fix it. You fight. You punch the guy. You punch each other in the face, whatever. You figure it out. You solve the problem. I don't care who you are. You just got to fight. Man, CM Punk was magical. Those brief moments were so great. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please pass the word on. I do little topics. I love wrestling. Again, to me, like I said, I can understand The Rock's emotion when it comes to someone talking about grandfathers. If it wasn't for my grandfather, I wouldn't watch wrestling. My grandfather would talk about Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, Ric Flair, Greg Valentine, all those guys, Superstar Billy Graham. And that's how I got involved and started watching it. Of course, that was much, much later. I was more like growing up with the British Bulldogs, Demolition, Steiner Brothers, Sting, all those, Ric Flair, Ultimate Warrior, Coco Beware, Jake the Snake, you name, that's my beginning as far as watching it. The Four Horsemen. I even remember watching, the Von Erichs, from Kerry Von Erich to Kevin Von Erich. So there's a lot, and I enjoy it. It's kind of like you get the escapism. You get to escape from the reality, the real stuff going on. It's nice sometimes, and that's what wrestling does. And that's the beauty of it. And that's one of the reasons why I tend not to take it too seriously, because it's a form of entertainment. And that entertainment, I cheer, I can boo, but it's just fun. I'm doing my acting job. I just never take it too personal. So I love what they did, because, you want to hate on The Rock? Hey, we can do this. We can do this. Maybe they flipped it. Maybe that was a story the whole time. Who knows? I at times, I just don't want us to dictate how things go. It's easy to determine how a business can be run versus us being in that spot to run it. I'm not here to defend anybody. I'm just giving my opinion. That's what I gotta say as far as that. I enjoyed it. If anybody get a chance, I'm not, this is not sponsored at all. I'm just saying, hey, go check it out on YouTube. It's probably there. We'll find out how many views it gets and how long it trends, how effective this press conference was. I think it was very effective. It's even seals it now. So some fans got what they wanted, but did they? Did they get what they want? Are you going to cross The Rock now? Who's part of the board now? They have to use it as a part of the story. They're dropping lines already about it. CM Punk, Big E mentioned it. Pat McAfee mentioned it. You have to use that. You have to. It's a family business now. We run shit. Anybody steps up to us, insults our family, shit, good luck. Amazing. Amazing stuff. Who knows what's going to happen in Elimination Chamber now? Is it going to be different? As far as, I would say this. One thing I will say. Let's not have a men's Elimination Chamber match for the world title. Not for Seth Rollins' title. Something has to come out of this where they've all four ended up there. They all ended it together. Figure that part out. If you want to have an IC title Elimination Chamber, do that. Because Gunther deserves it one too. That was like, I felt like that was, of course, with all the hype, the big stars and, your top ones are there. Gunther deserves to be there. The Ring General. Right? He's only held the belt for how long now? So I would want to have that because I want to see a worthy opponent that has the possibility to dethrone him. if they can, right? And that's the other thing I like about his reign. Nobody ever thought it was going to be this long, and now we're appreciating how good this guy is. If anybody ever saw his matches, the guy got in shape. The amount of weight he lost is incredible. The work ethic is there. He deserves a worthy opponent. And I think that if you don't do Elimination Chamber for whoever's type, has to be Seth, because Roman Reigns, it's either a 3-way, 4-way, whatever. Something's going to happen with all 4 of them involved, and they're going to be intertwined in some way. I'm thinking that's my hunch. I don't predict it. I'm having fun with it because it's a complete mystery at this point. It's like the GMs. Remember the days of, I don't want to say it, but I'm not going to drop his name. Remember the days of the owner calling all the shots? Remember those? Well, maybe they're kind of not recycling the story, but they're making it even better now. Because now you have a guy that, shit. He is the actor. He is the, promoter. He is the owner now. Wrestler, actor, producer, whatever. Man, Cody insulted his grandfather? He took it as the insult? Damn, Rock, you got a little sensitive there for a moment. But shit, this is good. I'm loving it. WrestleMania 40 is going to be blazing hot. That is one thing that he said. Triple H is saying it. They're all saying it. It's going to be so good. And with the way this ended, it's so, so good. This is a Not So Creative Podcast. This is E. On YouTube, E-24G ! I appreciate everyone who listens. This was a fun one. And I hope CM Punk comes back fast, but you know what? Take your time. It's not easy in your 40s to get recovery, to get recovered as quick as we were in the 20s and 30s. A torn tricep is a torn tricep. It takes time. There's no speeding through it. And I would love to do like an interview. I'm going to try and see if anybody has a way to, listen to the show and give me insight on how I've been trying to contact, WWE about having some talent do interviews. I greatly appreciate that. I'd be grateful. And again, social media, Eric G2477. Instagram, I put a little pause on it to take a break from things for a little bit. Nothing bad. It's just sometimes you need that break. And I have YouTube anyway. That's my go-to these days. And subscribe to the channel on YouTube also. I'm looking to grow it. I'm hoping to have live videos sometime soon. And, thanks for listening. And I'll see you guys. The Rock is pissed. Shit. He said, "You don't talk about nobody in my family like that. I'm going to slap you right now. You're not going to do anything about it, Cody." Wow. And Seth is pissed too. Roman's pissed as well. They're all pissed.